So we will call this the pre-work in progress crit, just to see where everyone's at. So up first I have indigo.
Well, not completely redid it, but I reconfigured. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this better or not? Do I still need to push it more?
Here's the idea. Your idea of the paddle out forming the shape of Maui. This is your big idea, and when it was bigger on the page, it read a lot faster, I think, on there. I'm a little concerned that now we've got all this foliage down here and the trees in here. I think I liked it better when this was larger in the frame. Did you shrink it down?
I shrank it down because you were concerned that it was too similar to the poster that they had done last year.
No, here's the thing. It's a similar idea, but you're going to bring your style to it. So, um, I think this is your idea and making it larger. Yours is different, didn't they? In the other one, didn't they kind of form just a perimeter ring around it?
It was just a single person.
What
I don't even think they were on surfboards. They were just in the water perimeter.
what I think makes yours not just different, but actually better. I like the fact that all the surfboards are kind of converging on that point. You're really drawing attention to it. So I don't think the palm trees are really adding anything to you, especially if you're going to have some, or is that going to be like plumeria or hibiscus or?
Yeah.
Um, so the palm trees, and maybe it's just because they're drawn with heavier line, they seem to be just taking a little bit more importance on there. Adding some foliage down here to hold the type, that's up to you. But if you divide this up, your foliage at the bottom is taking up almost like a quarter of your poster.
So what if I took away the palm trees,
Make
blew that up?
Yeah, and you only
the
hit
foliage.
the foliage.
The foliage.
Can I just say, there's some newscaster, I forget who it is on local, who always says foliage, and it's like fingers on a chalkboard to me.
But if I made it just a little bit, maybe I wouldn't do 2 layers, just 1 layer.
Yeah, and the other thing, I'm looking at what you wrote here. All are welcome as we unite for a community paddle out to remember our loved ones. You never want to break up loved ones on here.
Okay.
Impacted by the Lahaina fires.
And that's where I put the little heartbeat thing instead.
Um,
I was trying to figure out what.
to be honest with you, I think you want this to be more prominent. I would put it right under the paddle out to tell people what the event is for.
Okay. So maybe I don't even need that there?
Well, so it was the bane of our existence when I was designing movie posters, because legally we had to put that big billing block at the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was no way around it. And in the years I did movie posters, it went from being maybe 2 lines of type to being like ridiculous, like 8 lines of text. We actually even have our own font for it, which is super slender.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because the height of the type is dictated by the contracts, and they got so crazy, we just kept narrowing the type to try and get more in there. And if you look at it, it's almost like a barcode now.
Yeah.
At any rate, this is important information, and you want to invite everyone in there. So I think you need to make it a little bit more prominently. I would absolutely not use this font, though.
Okay. Because when I was putting in the other font and you kept being concerned that it was too simple, I just wanted to throw out something that I'm going to use Illustrator font, not because I'm Procreate. I just wanted to put something.
Yeah,
not be so
what you find, and I do love script fonts, but when you work commercially, you find out a lot of people don't like them because they can be hard to read. And even me reading this, I stumbled over unite because it kind of looked like the word right with a W. But I think lose the palm trees, really zoom in on this, make your perspective a little bit better because this boat's not sitting right. Do you see that?
It's too big?
Well, no, the perspective on your boat. Have you taken perspective here yet?
Yes, I have.
Then that's super.
Okay.
Let's.
No, yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, no, you have a straight horizon line there. You can't have a straight horizon line here too. You can't have two horizon lines. So um, you can just raise this up a little bit and cheat. You can cheat it, but
Yeah.
right now it's too obvious that it's off a little bit. But I think lose the trees, really make this your center image, and just nice simple type down here. And I'll leave it up to you talking about what it's about. Part of the reason I think you want to do that is to really underscore what the event is for. I think by putting Lahaina in there, then people will see the shape of Maui a little bit easier. Regarding the type, I know this is placeholder here. I think this is smart to just do a real bold Maui Strong headline.
I didn't do it. I wanted to kind of, I don't know how to describe it. Like it looks like it's kind of going in between, like in and out of the clouds.
Yeah, no, I like
Out
that.
there.
I like that.
Something to settle it in.
I hate this font, but
Again, when I put in the basic font, you kept being concerned that that's what I was gonna do. So I was like, okay, I have to put something else up there to get that it's not, I'm not gonna use like. You know what I mean?
I mean, this is my opinion, but I know it's one that's shared by a lot of people in the graphic design industry, that these fonts that are designed to look like handwriting are often so obviously computer generated that the whole point of having handwriting in here is to make it look like a human hand had something to do with it. Some are better than others. This one I think is a little chunky in there.
Okay.
What I don't know if I did it with you. Oftentimes your own handwriting is better than what you can do here. And what we can do is, so here's what I would do in this. And I think I told you guys this. When I wanted something that was handwritten, I would start with my own handwriting and I would just get different surfaces, like different types of paper. I would get a pen, I would get a pencil, I would get a piece of charcoal or something. I would write, in this case, Maui Strong over and over and over and over. And the reason you do it like 10 times is we can scan that in and turn it into a vector. And if you've done it multiple times, say one of them looks spectacular, but you screwed up the A. Well, we can pick an A up from one of the other ones and cut and paste them together. If my handwriting didn't work, I would go around the office and ask people to write whatever it was 10 times. And it was always the people you least expected who had amazing handwriting. I think in the last agency I worked with, our runners, the messengers, the in-house messengers, all these 20-something young guys, they had like amazing handwriting. So I used that multiple times in there. There are some you can download if you don't want to do that. One of the things you're fortunate about, I'm just looking at this, and it's the dead giveaway that you're not using real handwriting, is if you were to have letters repeat and they look identical. Like if you had a word that had two O's in it and those look identical, it gives away the game right away that it's not real handwriting. Go ahead and see what you can find. Remember, you have, if you go into any of the Adobe software, and I just want to remind everyone of this, the software comes with, I think, something like 200 typefaces already activated. But if you put type in here, I always find it, you can do it up here, but when you do that, it tends to cover up whatever's on your page. That's why I tend to go here to the type and go to character, and I have it open up already over here. But what you can do if you're not happy with the fonts you have, come down here and do find more. But you can actually then filter this. And it takes a minute. You can go here and only see what scripts are there. So let's do Maui Strong. Oh wait, that's the name of the font. So let's do this bigger here. So if you come here and do find more and search, you can test drive, like something like that looks like it has a little bit more personality to it. So there are some, the big issue with script fonts is readability. So, that probably wouldn't work. That's a little hard to read. So you do have some choices down here that I think would be more helpful on there. You also, I'll remind you too, can go to defont.com.
Have you heard of or ever used 1001 fonts?
Yeah, I use some other ones too.
Yeah,
I own no stock in defont. That tends to be the easiest. But you can come up here and do script. Here's calligraphy, and what you can do is if you type your text in here, and
do you think it should be in all caps, or do you think it should be?
Well, no, not with script. With script, you never want it to be all caps.
Should all be all should be lowercase, maybe?
That's up to you. You could do that. So, I mean, there's some choices here that could be interesting on there too.
Okay.
I also go, other people have drug problems. I have a font problem because I go to this website all the time. I love typography. And they've got some really great fonts in here. And, I get asked to do a lot of graphics for the college, and I will take any excuse I can get to buy more fonts. So, and I'm not one to advocate for breaking the law. But I will say, anytime I worked at an agency, the very first thing I did was steal all the fonts. So, just saying, I'm not saying that's a good thing to do, but it's an effective thing to do. Anyhow, so overall, the big thing here is this is your idea. Don't make it too small in there. Obviously, because it's so horizontal, you can probably only get it maybe about 20% bigger. But you really want the focus to be on here, and then I would put your text here.
Should I just put the text in the water then? Should I just blow up?
Yeah, I don't know that you even need this. It's a little distracting.
Okay.
Now, bringing flowers and leis is encouraged. Donations will be accepted. That can be smaller at the bottom.
Okay.
But your main message here that you want to drive home, and I would just keep it simple.
Okay.
If you're going to use a script up here, I probably would do a nice clean sans serif down here, or even maybe a more modern like block serif, but something light. You want to keep it. You don't want to. This is your image. You don't want to overpower it.
Okay.
All right, let's give Indigo a hand here. Let's see. Whose is this?
That's mine.
And I know you're just really starting out here. All right, so your idea, farmers market posters are so much fun to do. So tell us where you see this going.
I was originally going to have it be like a little bit higher, the text a bit higher, like add some sun rays around it, to be like the morning sun. And have like, originally I was going to put some of the text like the Anaheim farmers market like by the tractor and the wagon carrying like the crops and such, like to really give it like the rural feel, like like it's farmed locally and it's like by farmers of the community.
Okay. So, and I see that you, by the weight of the type, you're emphasizing things. I would do it by size too. I think Anaheim Farmers Market needs to be bigger. Thursdays at 11 to 3, that could be your second most important, and then the address can be third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but let me show you here something with your colors. If I come up here and go to tools, this is probably a good example of the idea of value and not just color. So the way you have this, it looks like you want the color to pop it off that orange background. But watch what happens when I, oh great, we have that. So I just turned it black and white, and you can see everything just kind of disappears, because even though you have different colors in here, they're the same value. So if you want this orange color in the background, I think what you want is to either go lighter or darker with it. Why are we giving free advertising to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim?
I figured like that would be like the most known thing about Anaheim, apart like from it being like Disneyland.
Who cares? This event is for the locals, right? You're not getting the tourists who are staying at the Disneyland Hotel say, let's skip the park today and go to the farmer's market down on Center Street. That just doesn't happen. So your audience here are locals, and so everyone knows where Anaheim is. So I would ditch the halos on here. I mean, I know it's a cute idea, but I would ditch that. Let me show you. So are these supposed to be the fields?
Yeah.
Let me show you a great way to do that if you want to. So I'm going to start with a dark green background. And what I'm going to do is let me get this out of the way, really thin light green here. And to get that idea of distance on here, what I'm going to do is take this light green strip, come up here under Effect, go to Transform, and this is again a really great tool if you are ever doing shapes that repeat. And what I'm going to do with this is I've got this light green strip. I'm just going to grab a number here and say like 8 copies of it. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the stripes repeat going down here, but each one's going to get a little thicker. So I'm going to keep the horizon or the horizontal value the same. Maybe I'll make each one go 15% bigger. And then could even probably go a little thicker here too. But this kind of ties into what we were talking about with perspective, where things get smaller as they go in the distance. So if you're trying to imply rows of crops up here, if it's thicker, it's going to imply it's closer, and as they get thinner and smaller, they're going to look like they're going away. So I've done that, and I'm going to render it. And to render anything in Illustrator, it's either expand or expand appearance. But then I'm going to take this, group it, and do some of these warp effects on there. So that might be, let's see, I'll do arch. This might be a better way to get that idea of, drop it in the bottom and you have your tractor. That might be a little better than, the way you're doing it right here, it's almost starting to look like a watermelon, which isn't a bad thing. But if your idea was to get it, and you're going to have the trailer filled with all the fruits and vegetables and everything. Yeah, I think it's great. Just really work on the type. Let me see if I can even open this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just was worried I would have to make it bigger because you're not supposed to go over like 12 or whatever for font, right?
No, you can go over 12.
Oh, that was like for print stuff.
That was for text.
Oh.
So if it were me, I would make it much bigger. Let's lose your little halos here. You're talking, I always tell people, don't club people over the head with something. And what I mean by that, you've got a tractor, you're going to have a trailer full of all sorts of fruits and vegetables. I don't think you need to put these little leaves on the type. But, you know, this should probably go brighter and lighter. You know, this can go a little bit bigger on here. And I'll leave it to you. You know, this is pretty important information. Maybe that'll go a little lighter. Let's see, even lighter still here.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, like.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. This is really geared towards a local audience. So do you need to put Anaheim, California and the zip code?
No.
There's no reason you can't. But here's the thing, if you have this orange background, this isn't as important information. You can make it similar in value. This is the important information because people want to know what days and what times it is. You know, and you can do that. So, and you were going to put a sun back here?
Yeah, or I was gonna have it like art, the text art.
Okay.
If it was the sign itself.
Yeah, I'll leave it up to you. But the hierarchy here is the event name is the important thing. In this case, the date is probably going to be important, and then where it's going to be. If you need to leave that, I mean, if you wanted to, you could put that down here.
Yeah. But it's usually like in the same general area, so like that's why I made
Okay.
the location like pretty small.
Yeah, but I think it's really fun, and for a farmer's market, you probably want it to be very inviting, you know, and I think the direction you're taking this in, I think works great for it. Even, you know, I'm not normally a fan of the typewriter text up here, but it actually works for this. That doesn't mean you have to do everything with it. You know, this might look good if you want to pair it. I usually pair a serif with a sans serif. And I still have my filters on, so, you know, maybe just a nice Futura. Let's see, let's just do medium. So this is serif type. Maybe you pair it with something sans serif just to get a little variety on the page. But I think you're in really good shape. So let's give Jesus a hand here. The only other one I had turned in is Caitlin. She's not here. Let's see what's going on. So she's doing the Guts World Tour for Olivia Rodrigo. And, you know, here's the thing on this, and what I said at the outset here. The majority of your grade on this project is going to be the idea. And there really isn't any idea. It's an image of her. It's been image traced. Other than the choice of the fonts on here, there's not really much design going on other than the big kind of swooping V shape on here. Is it a cool looking poster? Yeah. There's lots and lots of really, you know, just pretty posters that just have interesting graphics on it and don't really have anything more to say about it. But for this particular, and I know we talked about this when we looked at thumbnails, I reiterated to Caitlin that, yeah, you can do this, but how can you bring an idea to this? And it's really hard when you're talking about an artist who's already selected a theme for the tour. So you kind of have to go with that. So this was always going to be a little challenging for this assignment, only because it's hard to introduce your own concept into someone who's already conceptualized a whole concert tour. That being said, it's just an image traced image on here. And to put it in a portfolio, anyone who looks at this in this business is going to know it's just image trace. So they're going to, the question will be then, well, what did you do? Is your only contribution to this the big magenta V back here? Is that enough of an idea? I don't know. There's also a lot of different fonts going on here. I mean, I realize they're all sans serif. Actually, it looks like there's only 2 on here. So, for this assignment, I would still, ask that somehow you come up with an idea that maybe incorporates, if obviously you're a fan of Olivia Rodrigo, what does she mean to you? What does her music mean to you? How can you incorporate that into this? Is there anything you can do off of the title? I'm a little scared to ask what you could do with Guts, but the gist, I think, for this assignment has to be more to it, because why would I hire you as a designer when anyone with Illustrator can grab an image from the internet and image trace it? And that kind of becomes the question. So does it look great? Yeah, of course it does. The other thing, and I talked to Caitlin about this, can you do a horizontal poster? That's entirely up to you. The issue becomes, this is advertising, and the advertising ecosystem is really set up for vertical posters. When you drive down the street and you see every bus shelter that has an ad on it, they're all vertical. The world is kind of set up for vertical posters. So, yeah, you can do a horizontal poster. It's going to limit where it can be displayed. But again, that's not going to affect the grade on this. The biggest thing is, where is the idea? What is the concept behind it? All right, so let's give Caitlin a hand. So like I said, this is the pre-work in progress crit. Always a good, especially starting out, getting an idea of whether you're on the right track here. That's the purpose of this. So again, this wasn't required today. It was just for anyone who wanted to have everything looked at. On Monday, the 13th, I believe, that's going to be when we do the official work in progress crit. And we'll see how it goes. That may be your last opportunity to get feedback from me before the end of the post or before the end of the semester. All right. Thank you, everyone.